Hi, I'm Jaejun Lee, a PhD student of School of Computing at KAIST. I'm a member of the Big Data Intelligence Lab led by Professor Joyce Jiyoung. I will present my paper, VISTA Visual-Textual Knowledge Graph Representation Learning. Knowledge graphs represent human knowledge in the form of triplets consisting of two entities and a relation. For example, person, right, horse. While conventional knowledge graph embedding methods focus only on the structure of a knowledge graph to learn the representations of the entities and relations, additional images or text descriptions can aid in producing more accurate representations. Some recent works add images and text descriptions of entities to existing knowledge graphs, resulting in multimodal knowledge graphs. While the existing works only consider the images and text descriptions of entities, sometimes we can express an entire triplet using an image. For example, to represent a triplet person, ride, horse, we can provide an image of a person riding a horse. In this work, we propose visual textual knowledge graphs, VTKGs in short, where entities and triplets can be represented by images, and both entities and relations have their text descriptions. For example, a triplet person, pool, card is represented by an image like this, and the relation pool has its text description. The link prediction task on VTKGs is defined as predicting a missing entity in a given incomplete triplet. For example, horse, pool, and a question mark. Here, the answer is thing. In this work, we define VTKGs and create two new real-world VTKG benchmark datasets that contain visually expressible common sense knowledge, images of entities and relations, and text descriptions of the entities and relations. We propose a visual textual knowledge graph representation learning method, VISTA, which utilizes the visual and textual features of relations and entities. Specifically, we utilize the images of triplets to learn the visual representations of relations. VISTA consists of an entity encoder, a relation encoder, and a triplet decoder. To the best of our knowledge, VISTA is the first method that learns visual representations of visually expressible relations. Our experimental results show that VISTA significantly outperforms 10 different state-of-the-art knowledge graph completion methods. To create real-world VTKGs, we collect visually expressible triplets and the corresponding images from three computer vision benchmark datasets, VRD, HICODAT, and Unreal. By structuring the visual phrases, we form our VTKGI, where text descriptions of entities and relations are also added. We extend VTKGI by adding triplets from well-known knowledge bases, WordNet and ConceptNet, to create VTKGC. Visually expressible common sense knowledge from VSKE is also added to create VTKGC. As a result, VTKGC contains visually expressible common sense knowledge, as well as knowledge that is not expressible by images. We use pre-trained VIT and BERT to extract the visual and textual features of entities and relations. For example, to extract the visual features of an entity horse, we feed the images of a horse to VIT, resulting in HVIS1, HVIS2, and so on. Also, we feed the text description of word horse into BERT to extract the textual feature, resulting in HText. We extract visual features of a relation using the images of triplets containing the relation. For example, to extract a visual feature of a relation pool, we use an image representing horse, pool, train. From this image, we extract the visual features of the bounding boxes of the horse and the train and their union bounding box using VIT. And then we concatenate these visual features to form a visual feature of the relation pool. The resulting visual feature is denoted by RBIS1. Similarly, we can also use an image representing person pool card to represent the second visual feature of the relation pool, resulting in RBIS2. The textual feature of the relation pool is generated by feeding the text description of pool into BERT. This is an overview of our method, VISTA, to predict the missing entity in an incomplete triplet, horse, pool, question mark. We need the representations of the entity horse and the relation pool. Given the entity horse and its visual and textual features, we use an entity encoder to calculate the representation of the horse. Similarly, given the relation pool and its visual and textual features, we use a relation encoder to calculate the representation of the pool. The representations of horse and pool are fed into a triplet decoder to predict the missing entity, thing. The entity encoder contains a learnable vector cent, which is shared across all entities. Each entity has its own learnable vector h. The visual features are projected by the projection matrix WVis, and the textual features are projected by another projection matrix WText. We refer to the projected visual features as visual representations and the projected textual features as textual representations. The positional encodings for the learnable vectors, the visual representations, and the textual representations of entities are added before they are fed into the entity encoding transformer. The entity encoding transformer computes the representation of an input entity by considering its learnable vector and its visual and textual representations. After L layers of the transformer, we get the representation of the input entity denoted by CHL, which is the output of the entity encoding transformer corresponding to Zent. The structure of the relation encoder is similar to that of the entity encoder. It contains a learnable vector CREL, which is shared across all relations. Each relation has its own learnable vector R. All visual features are projected by the projection matrix W hat vis, and textual features are also projected by another projection matrix W hat text. We refer to the projected visual features as visual representations of the relations and the projected textual features as textual representations of the relations. The positional encodings for the learnable vectors, visual representations, and the textual representations of relations are added before they are fed into the relation encoding transformer. We use ZRL hat as the representation of the input relation. To predict the missing entity in the triplet horse, pool, ? We use the representation of horse, pool, and the question mark. After adding appropriate positional encodings, p tilde head for head, p tilde rel for relation, and p tilde tail for tail, they are fed into the triplet decoding transformer. Here, a learnable mask vector cmask is used as the initial representation of the missing entity. After L tilde layers, the representation corresponding to cmask is compared with all entity representations, and the entity with the highest similarity is chosen as the missing entity. As the existing benchmark datasets do not contain images of triplets, we create two visual textual knowledge graphs, VTKGI and VTKGC, that contain images of triplets and entities along with text descriptions. We also use two benchmark multimodal knowledge graphs, WordNet 18RR++ and FB15K237, where WordNet 18RR++ is the corrected version of WordNet 18RR. The below table shows some statistics of the dataset. We compare the performance of VISTA with 10 different baseline methods. The former 4 methods are conventional knowledge graph embedding methods that only use structural information, while the latter 6 methods are multimodal knowledge graph representation learning methods. These are the results of knowledge graph completion in terms of MRR and hit stand on VTKGI. For both metrics, the higher the better. The results in terms of the other metrics, such as hit 3, hit 1, or MR, are available in our paper. In terms of all metrics, VISTA shows the best performance. These are the results on VTKGC. VISTA outperforms all baselines in terms of all metrics. These are the results on WordNet 18RR++ and FB15K237, which are benchmark multimodal knowledge graph datasets. We see that VISTA also outperforms all baselines on these existing benchmark datasets. Let me also mention some qualitative analysis. Recall that in the relation encoder of VISTA, we project the visual features of relations using the projection matrix W hat vis and call them the visual representation vectors of relations. To show this way of computing visual representations of relations is effective, we visualize visual representation vectors of 3 different relations, feed, repair, and carry, which are calculated with the images unseen during training. The visual representations of the relation feed are calculated by projecting the visual features extracted from the images of triplets consisting feed using the projection matrix W hat vis. Similarly, visual representations of the relation repair is calculated. Last, the visual representations of the relation carry is also calculated. In this plot, we can see that the visual representation vectors of these three relations are well clustered, and this shows the effectiveness of our approach of using W-hat-Viz. Next, we compare the top three most similar entities or relations to the query based on the representation vectors created by BERT, VIT, and VISTA. For example, given the query have, BERT returns move, influence, and begin. VIT returns straddle, hop on, and inspect. And VISTA returns keep, hold, and incorporate. While BERT tends to return abstract concepts like influence and VIT returns visually expressible concepts like straddle, VISTA successfully returns the most semantically close concepts to the query by utilizing both text and images. Last, we plot the distributions of the attention weights in the entity and relation encoding transformers in VISTA. We see that when images are not given, learnable vectors H have relatively high attention weights in entities, whereas textual features R text play the crucial role in relations. When an image is given, the learnable vectors still have high importance in entities, while the visual representation vectors R-Vis have high contributions in relations. In this work, we introduce VTKGs, where visually expressible triplets are augmented and represented by images, and both entities and relations have textual descriptions. We propose VISTA to solve knowledge graph completion problems in real-world VTKGs. VISTA takes into account the visual and textual features to calculate the representations of the entities and relations. Experiments show that VISTA substantially outperforms 10 different state-of-the-art knowledge graph completion methods. Our datasets and codes are available at this link. Also, you can find more materials on our homepage. Thank you.